Greetings, 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 greetings. This is Arno one more time again on the wall. You know, when we look at our country, whichever country, viewers belongs to, whether it's the beautiful twin island of Trinidad and Tobago, or United States, or some European country, or some Asian country, or Australia, or even Africa. And we look around, we would see and we would observe that we are blessed with multi colors, all different shades of colors, all types of colors, which brings us to our topic today: colors. And each color have specific representation which are governed by particular vibration or particular energy, which work on particular waves. And colors give off wavelengths that our eyes see, that helps us to interpret colors. Hence the reason why some of us at times we see colors little off. For example, when we look at the rainbow, we would see different colors in the rainbow, and you and the next person could sit down there and you all can look at a rainbow, and you all will not see the same sequence of colors from that rainbow, because of the frequency that these colors reflect off and pitch. Each individual would see the reflection within a particular or a different order. They may have all the colors correct, but they would see it in a difference. Some may see green, yellow, orange, red, purple, and others might see purple, green, yellow, in a different setup or lineup. But colors plays a very, very important part in society. It plays an important part to an individual, and to the world at large. Going to school, we were taught, the colors group, which is primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. Primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. And the secondary would be orange, violet, and green. And then we go into the tertiary colors, which is violet and these rest of colors and stuff like that. That being said, and these colors would branch off, or they would come from another set of colors. So in order to get the secondary colors, we were taught in school that you would have to mix two primary colors and it would give you a secondary color. And then you will mix a secondary color with a primary color, and you get tertiary colors, and then we'll have different seeds and all these kind of things where colors is concerned. You know, and colors, you know, there are, you know, like the color red. Red is a very interesting color. And when we talk about red, you know, red plays a lot of role. You know, red could represent war, right? Red could also represent love, right? So you would find now, even when it also represents power, right? You would notice that you would see presidents when they have meeting or they speaking to their membership, you know, you would notice that they will have on a red tie, you know, that signifies a certain power, right? You would see with where it comes with in terms of war and a form of you know, people that say red represents victory, but you know, before we reach the victory, you must have some level of war. And you would find when somebody they reach in that stage, that fuming stage, are battling, or they want to fight or something, you know, they wear red, you know, the eyes get bloody red, you know, which shows a signs of war, right? Hence the reason why you would find in some countries they would use red to protest. You know, you would find, especially in Trinidad and Tobago, would have a time they would some of them would start to wear red, you know, because they're at war. Then it have that is the extreme part of red. Then it have the soft part of red, where red, you know, is a representation, or it represents love. That is why you'd find women who trying to entice a man, or when they go and they're trying to entice men or draw some sort of attraction, men to be attracted to them, you know, they make sure they get a lovely red lipstick, you know, because it also represents love, you know, and not just love, but a passionate love, you know. In certain cultures, certain cultures over the world, when they married, they would marry in red. You know, more on the Asian part of the world, they would use red, because red represents that deep passion of love. Then, you know, we go to blue. Blue. I should go to blue first. I mean, next. I will go to blue. Let me go to blue. Blue. Blue brings us a level of security. Blue represents a security. It represents a safe zone. You know, when you see something blue, you know, you will see certain signs in blue which represents a form of security, safety. Hence the reason why we would see police officers in blue, you know, to give you that sense of security, that sense of comfort. You know, this is what blue represents. You know, so when we talk about, when they see blue, that is why you see police, when they see that blue light flickering in the night, or they in the blue uniform, you feel that level of security. So whether or not you realize somebody wearing blue or not, and you just glimpse the blue one time, you know, that sense of feeling, hey, there is a police. Because, you know, they, especially, I can't say especially, but so when you see them and they wear this color blue, you know, they are easily identified as a level of security. You know, but if you want to go even, I wouldn't say reach that stage of blue as yet. So blue it also stands for truth, you know, and once you feel a level of comfort, because it's final level, you know, normally you would find a level of truth with people and things, you know, and you feel that comfort, because, you know, this blue, it brings that stage of relaxation, that stage of calmness, you know. This is what I've been looking for, some sort of truth, you know, a level of security and a level of comfort. And therefore, we go to green. Not green, yellow. I jump in the gun, eh? Yellow is a extremely strong color. And yellow, you know, it represents that radiant ray, or that radiant light. You know, when people think about yellow, it shows, you know, great, that form of brightness, radiance. You know, it have a representation of wealth as well. But, you know, we ought to be a little careful with yellow, because yellow is something that you know, normally it taps into one's nerves. And if one is overwhelmed with yellow, and they are not focused, or they are not strong enough, it starts to attack their nervous system. You know, so there are certain places you wouldn't go, places you don't go in places and see the room painted in yellow. You know, because the kind of effect, and yellow, it's so powerful, you know, that it attacks your nervous system. So, you know, you'll find with certain type of sickness, you know, the medication or the medicine you're taking, especially with your nerves and thing, you know, it could be some kind of yellow fruit, or you know, something mixed and the color really yellow and all these kind of thing, you know. So it plays that ticklish part with the humans, with the human life and thing, you know. Then we'll go to secondary color, green. When we think about green, and when you say green, you know, it brings a representation of peace. You know, green also represents healing. Hence the reason why when you go certain places, medical places, you will notice that the building, it must have green in it. You know, because it plays a psychological trick on the mind, and it relaxes and calms the mind and bring the mind to such stage or level of peace, which, you know, because it ties with growth, you know, growth and peace. And only time someone can really or truly grow is when he or she find peace within his or herself. Orange is a very, very ticklish color, and orange is a color that taps into one's intellect. You know, it taps into one's creativity, you know, because, you know, where it plays, you know, because orange is a combination of yellow and red. So according to which of the two colors is more dominant, you know, it's the level of creativity or a level of intelligence, or it brings out a great form of knowledge. You know, you would find, you know, people who in spaces and it with orange, or they use plenty orange, you know, it causes them to go into a certain level of or degree of intelligence. You know, hence the reason why you would sit down and you would see monks and they would be clothed in orange, right? You know, red and orange, because of the passion and the nerve that brings together, that reflect a certain level of intelligence. So when you sit down and you speak with them, it will be like, wow, a great knowledge of wisdom, because this is what the color orange, you know, this is what it brings out. And so the thing with that is, oftentimes we because we don't understand the importance of colors, even violet, you know, that and all, you know, it brings well, violet purple, you know, it also represents royalty. It represents power as well. And there's a great significance, violet, that also represents love. You know, being passionate or compassionate. You know? But so when we understand what these colors and understand the importance of colors, we would therefore know how to vibrate these colors. There are times that some of us, we may have children or ourselves, and we may paint our room, or we may buy clothes for our children, or even for ourselves, and the color clothes that we buy, even though that color look nice, you know, so sometimes the color does be a little too strong, or it doesn't suit the energy or the vibration of an individual, you know. And according to the color that they may paint a room, or the particular color clothes that they may wear, it plays a psychological impact to the individual. You know, according to the colors, you know, sometimes it's so heavy that it draws so much energy and vibration, you know, that sometimes children, they can't sleep, or adults or people, they can't sleep in their room, or stay in their house, or stay by somebody, you know. Sometimes you go by somebody and they place in a room and you're not comfortable, your spirit not settled, and you know, you're wondering, but how come? You know, other people say, well, I went by so and, you know, I slept comfortable. But you know, would be like, but how come I'm not comfortable? How come I can't sleep? You know, because sometimes the color of the room that it paints, it creates a particular energy, and it's too powerful for the type of individual that you are. You know, so we need to keep these things mindful. You know, sometimes there are times we may be going out and we get a certain vibration or a certain energy to wear a particular color, right? And that particular color, it operates on a particular frequency that allows whatever journey that you're going on, it allows it to be easier, less challenging. It helps you to be a certain way, or to bring a certain level of calmness. Sometimes you go somewhere and you have on a particular color, and when you come in the room with that color, it lights up the whole room, and people is like, wow, I love that color. Oh, I love the way you look. You look beautiful. And sometimes they can't grasp their hands. Yeah, David Andrews, greetings to you as well, man. So, you know, they can't grasp on exactly what caused that, but you know, sometimes it's just the color that the clothes that you wear, it creates a particular vibration. It attracts a particular energy, you know, and it's the same how it could work for you in a positive way. It can also work in a negative way. So, you know, one must be conscious of his dress code in terms of color and where he is going and what energy he or she wishes to attract. You know, so now we go into the two the two big colors, which is white and black. You know, white is one of the greatest. Some people will call it a shade. Some people would not really characterize it as a color, you know, but it is. And the thing with white is, what white do? White have will absorb all the different rays or vibration of colors, but it don't keep it. When it absorbs these colors, it reflects it out. And this is how you would see, this is how white operates. That is why you would have a white light shining, and according to the direction or how you look at it, you would see various colors reflecting off of this one white light, because white, it does distribute, or it does push out all various colors, because all various colors would therefore bounce on white, bounce off of white and reflect, you know. And black is quite the opposite. Black therefore now will absorb colors and keep it. You know, instead of white taking the colors and reflecting it off and bouncing it off, black take all the colors and it hold these colors, which create this dark shade. You know, and in the Western world, you know, white have a lot of representation, not only in the Western world, but with certain things with white, it is more characterized as a pure color. You know, it goes next to good things and angels and you know, weddings and all these kind of things. But way back when, white, instead of people used to wear black for funerals and all these things, they used to wear white. You know, it have certain cultures way back then when they think that they have done a particular level of sin and they had to be cleansed of a better word, or they had to be punished. You know, they would have wear black, which when it's, white, sorry, they would have worn white. You know, and from the time you see them coming along with that white, you know that they had done something that it was ungodly or unlawful, that it deserved a particular death, and their clothes was white. You know, and white really come big in the Western Hemisphere for marriages. You know, when there was a queen on her second marriage, she decided to wear white because, you know, white represents virgin and it represents purity. You know, so since she was already married and back in them times, you know, normally as virgins would have been wedded, and you know, that pureness and that innocent, right? So she wear white to represent that, you know, to eliminate or forget that she was already married in her last relationship. So she wanted to appear to be innocent and pure and a virgin, so she wear white. So, you know, because back in those days, in weddings and things, they used to wear black. Still in some cultures, like in Japan, they would wear black for marriage. But in the Western Hemisphere, because of colonialism, and they decide to stereotype black. They start to affiliate and associate black with negative vibration. They start to have it in a way that black ain't good. Nothing, when they hear black, nothing good in black. And, which is quite the opposite to white. White represents purity. It represents cleanliness and all these kind of things. Right? But when you use whites, you cannot hide in white. But black, when you wear black, not when you wear, but black is a color that is also used that represents depth. Yeah, it represents depth. Greetings, Josan. It represents depth. Hence the reason why magicians would use black backgrounds. Because with black is something that things can be hidden through black. So you'll see magicians, they have black or a dark background to show darkness. And when people hear black, we feel it so bad because we don't understand the great secret of black. And for some unseen reason, they really characterize black with black people, African people, to paint this picture that African people, we are so negative, we are demonical, we are not of God, we curse and all these things. But when you really understand the secret of black, it plays a more dynamic role than all these negative aspects that they will relate black to. And it's so funny that they would characterize, white or a white man or a white person as being so angelic and fair, and they would have us worship this white entity or white people, and look down at our black people as being cursed, or we can reach that stage of righteousness. We can reach, that elevation of being pure, So they use black and tarnish black. And it's so ironic that when they have any function, any big international function, what color do they wear? Black. Black tuxedos, black three-piece suit, black ties. The same black that they relate it to negative vibration, negative energy, is the same black that you see a lot of authoritative figure wearing. The same black you would see secret agents wearing. Because I said black is a color that is used to hide a lot of things because it carries a lot of depth. Black represents intelligence, and it represents power. Hence the reason why, blue, due to blue, if you go to Congo blue or this dark blue, that form of, that looks very close to black. That form of color, because blue, as I say, is a form of, it represents security, safety. So with black, right, is one of the closest things that will get so close to black very quick is blue. So it brings off that form of intelligence, it brings off power, it brings off authority. But they paint this picture to us that black is so negative. We see somebody dress up in black, or we see somebody moving in black. We done, this person is of this, or this person of that. That being said, because of the, I use any term, responsibility or the weight that black carries, it is not to be worn by any and everybody. It have a it really requires a certain level. When I say level, I'm not talking about anybody better than anybody, but a certain stage of maturity and a particular level of spirituality to really be wearing this black. You know, you will see all the negative they relate black. You will see Jews, they always in black. You know, they have on the black. Don't care what they do, they in black. Because they understand the power of black. You know, they put black in our head extremely negative. And as I said, ironically, they use black to represent power. So if they know black represents power, it represents intelligence, it represents authority, you know, why it is they try to characterize it so negative? You know, because they try to be condescending to the black people, you know, African people, to make us feel that we are not superior, that we are not mighty. You know, so you would find out it have a lot of black people would tell you, I'm not black. You know, I'm not African. You know, they will tell you things like, who me? I's a Trinidadian or under the English territory, or a Brazilian, you know, and sometimes we can be conscious because this black that relates to death, you know, that's all we see. You know, this negative, you know, black is weak, black is demonical. So, you know, we don't want to be identified as being black, you know, because it's a psychological. But if we sit down and we see how they treat black in this way, but yet in any function they go, or any order, secret order that have their ceremonies, they will be clothed in black. And why is that? Then black cannot be that negative. You know, all colors would have their negative vibration and would have their positive vibration. Hence the reason why, as an individual, we need to be cognizant of the fact, or mindful of the fact that, ew, this color is a little too much. You know, where I'm going and I'm putting on this, the occasion does not call for it. This room that I'm painting for my child or my children or for myself or for, you know, for my spouse and I, this is not the correct color. This color would not create or would not push to the vibration in which I would like, or the energy I'm trying to attract. You know, so this is the importance of understanding, you know, colors, the purpose it serves, and you know, sometimes why when certain places paint in certain colors, you know, is to reflect or to bring forth a particular energy or a particular vibration, you know. So it extremely psychological, you know. It is definitely spiritual, you know. So this is the thing we ought to understand, and stop having this taboo with and relating black to be negative or black to be demonical, you know, because black is also known as great as secrecy. You know, you hide things, you know, and you cover things, right? And the deeper one goes is the darker it becomes, right? So, you know, so that also, black also has the representation of great, great, great depth. Right? Even, even it also represents heights as well. Because the higher you go out into space, is the darker it becomes. So, you know, black is black, that mystical. Right? It that powerful. You know, and it reflects that level of authority, you know, that great level of intelligence. You know, so we need to be, as I was saying, be more focused and understand. You know, and all of these were all a psychological game that was played, you know, since they had us in slavery for 3 to 4 or 3 to 500 years. You know, and they continue to breed this negative relationship with black, and that's only done to make us feel that we are not good, to make us feel that we are inferior, you know. So they relate us to that negative vibration. But the more one becomes more conscious, they would realize the importance that black have in it, you know, and instead of being afraid of it, one should embrace it, you know. That being said, one should understand, one needs to understand his or her strength, because too much of one thing isn't good for something, you know. So even though you want to wear black, or you want to wear white, or you want to wear yellow, or you want to wear red or orange, you know, sometimes too much of these colors can overwhelm you. You know, and if you don't have what it takes, you know, these colors, they pull a lot of vibration and a lot of energy from you, you know. And if you're not within that same frequency that these colors generate these energies and vibration from, you know, it causes a lot of negative impact. Yeah? So these are things we ought to be conscious of where colors is concerned. You know, and is no different or likewise when it comes to names. You know, this is something that we have taken for granted and lost the secret or the knowledge of naming ourselves, naming our children or our grandchildren or whoever. You know, and you know, we come up with all sorts of names because why? We love our song. And you know, that can end up with a lot of problems, because oftentimes there are some names, greetings Bernadette. Sometimes there are some names that their meaning, it entertains a negative vibration. It are people who, you know, would name the child particular names. I wish not to call any name. I hope not to call any name, because I don't want to directly offend anyone. But there are some names that when you do your research on these names and see who these names actually represent, you know, this is the energy that you would be growing up, either you growing up under or your children would be growing up under. You know, it is extremely important. You know, I'll give an example. Somebody may name the child Bounce, you know, and Bounce, now I use Bounce, and I pray to God that nobody name the child Bounce, you know, or fall down. And every minute the child only falling down, only bouncing. getting into accident or bouncing into things. And we don't understand why, because of our name, it can reflect our failure or our success. It is important when we doing naming, or we naming our children. We look for name, positive name. We look for name that when we call the name, we entertaining an energy or a vibration that brings good vibration to whoever the person we are going to name. You understand what I'm saying? Oftentimes we just name, sometimes we hear a name from the Bible and we run and we name that child a name. But when you read the livelihood or the story about this particular individual, we give he or she this biblical name, and we see the pressure this child going through, either when they were a baby or when they become adult. And we ask ourselves, why? How come? It's because we trap ourselves, or we trap our children by giving them this name that can only generate a negative vibration. And then some name is not that it might be negative, but greetings, Alma. Right? So, not that it might mean negative, but it might be a name that represents struggle, hardship. And when you give a child a name, it makes his or her life even tougher. It's not that he may not be successful or he may not get what he wants, but because that name, and you're calling that name, unconsciously you're entertaining an energy that really governs that name. Like I have a friend who name, and I'm going to call this because they permit me to call it. I have a friend, a very good friend of mine. She has a daughter, and her daughter's name is Brianna. It means virtuous, noble, and when I hear names like that, so every time you call Brianna, right, what you are saying is, you virtuous one, you noble. So you're feeling that energy and that vibration, and we teach them the meaning of that name. So every time you hear that name, or they misbehave in a particular way, we will remind them, hello, your name is virtuous. Your name is noble. And that behavior, it does not reflect your name. So you started to teach them now. So now their whole mannerism and their whole behavior is going to change, because now, my name means this. And, and after now, they start to become their name. They start to become strong. They start to become, because, this is what my name means. And this is what I represent. So every time you call my name, you're bestowing power to me. For those names who have names that mean success and all these things, successful, or call them flower, blossom, which is beauty. So every time you call them by that name, you would see that manifestation coming into play. You all following me? If you all follow me, give me a little yay or a little thumbs up. I'm not saying that some of us have name and we have that name all these years, and Yeah. And we have them all these years, and you know, we reaching a stage in our life that okay, it's already so, and we accept the fact. But this is where our children or our children, we ought to sit down and converse with them. You know, hence the reason why, due to colonialism, you know, they bring christening. Yeah? And, you know, you carry a child, you have a name, and you carry a child and you'll christen your child. Right? Which is the stolen art of what our ancestors used to call naming the ceremony. Right? And you would find out either the elders or your grandparents or the elders of the village, when they see the child, they will give the child a name to reflect the energy or the vibration that child is under, or what energy or manifestation that child is under. So they'll give them a name, you know, that reflects that. You know, a child that brings joy. You know, something, you know, because they understand. You know, and we need to be mindful of these things. And when we start to operate with this level of consciousness with colors, you know, there are certain colors, not because everybody wearing it, it means you should wear it. Because that color, it may not work right with you. You know, or it may work right with you, but it may not be the correct color for where you may go, or you may like to go or venture. You know, because well done, Burn. You know, we have Burns. You know, I want to give big up to my good friend. You know, she a little closer than friend, you know. I could stand with this authority and call her my sister. You know, she blessing us with names now. And that is what I'm talking about. Bloody. So, colors, we ought to be mindful of these things. You know, according to what energy or vibration we wish to attract. You know, according to what purpose we may want to do something, there are certain places we would go. You know, that is why at times people would go by the sea and sit down and look at the sea because of the blue, you know, mixed with the green and the blending of the sky. You know, it brings that form of security. It brings that forms of tranquility. You know, there are some people who would be a little disturbed and they would be rotted, and they would go and sit down underneath a tree, or they have green scenery around them, you know, and it brings them at peace. Great peace. So let us be mindful of these things. Let us understand, and you know, if we did not know, we know now. If we had known and we forget, we have just been reminded. You know, the importance of colors, understanding colors. As I was saying, you know, you may go somewhere and you might wear, let me say, a yellow, and you wear a yellow, and when you enter into the space, you know, you're well complimented and people say, "Ooh, yellow look nice on you," you know. And then you may wear that same shade of yellow, and greetings, Betty Lou, greetings. And you might wear that same shade of yellow, and you may go into another place, and you would not get that feeling or that appreciation. It's not that you're trying to dress to appease anyone, but you would feel out of place. And sometimes you're wondering, why is that? You know, but it's because, you know, your color code is not in effect. You know? Ha! You know, so let us be mindful of that. Let us be mindful of names and understand the importance of name, understand why, you know, our ancestors, they used to, and still it goes on still in certain parts of Trinidad that I am consciously aware of, and in Africa they are still naming day ceremonies, right, which plays a very important or a critical part in the development of a child or a person. You know, it's very important, and it is important for someone to find out and understand and know the true meaning of their names and its originality, you know, and bring yourself to that stage of consciousness where one can even change it, you know, and be called, you know, change the direction, change your destiny, you know, and this is sometimes we find things in working out for we boy, doors closing, don't care, why try, everything line up, you know, but if your name means failure or unsuccessful or a struggler, hey, come on. Come on, what do you expect? So, you know, so sometimes before we even start the race, we injured ourselves. So now we're running with a limp, you know, and we need to make these changes in our life. We might find it might be too late for ourselves, but we can pass on this knowledge to those that who decide to bring forth someone new. Your intentions is not to make anybody or anyone do anything that they don't want to do. All your job is to do what I'm doing. Just make an individual aware and more conscious of their identity, of who they are. You know, sometimes you will see some parents, they dress up their children in a strong purple or a dark yellow or a dark red, you know, and continuously, you know, they might do it once or twice, but they're continuously doing it because red is their favorite color or this is their favorite color. And, you know, sometimes it's too much for that child. You know, that is why with some colors, people would use mixed colors to break down the energy and to break down the vibration. And these are things that we should, at all times, pay close attention to. Yeah? So, I want to tell you all, thank you for watching. You know, thank you for viewing, like, and share. You know, I don't know if anyone, not I don't know, what question do you have to ask me? Family, of course. You know, we have a lot of people online here, you know, so thank you very much, Bernadette. You know, so, you know, I know there is questions out there, so we can use this opportunity now to ask a question. As I said, if you're a little shaken to ask a question now, you can private message me and you can ask. Bernadette, if I tell you I love you, I really and truly love you. Wow. Right, of course, questions coming in. Right. My name, my first name, it means second born. Which is Arno. My second name, Tandiwe, it means beloved. And my surname, Olufemi, it means God love me. Yeah, I know you love me more too. You know, so there you have it. Arno, second born, and my parent, second child that is alive that I know of. My second name, Thandiwe, which means beloved, and my surname, Olufemi, it means God loves me. Okay, 2 questions. Flowers. What do you dream? Flowers. Okay. My lovely sister Josanne, do you want this question openly or you want a private answer? You know, because now dream is something that I do, and I simplify dream to those that who have dreams. But every dream that is dreamt, it would relate to the individual who have the dream. So you ask, when you dream flowers, what does that mean? You know, I need more information. If you just want a general, you dream flowers, yeah, but it may not relate to what you really dream. You know, so I may tell you something without any detail or any fine tune, and it may not be suited for the dream that you dreamt. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So, yes, it's the name. Yes. So, yes, Bernie is the name that was given to me when I was born. Right. Does the same energy transfer to children who are not baptized, or just baptism children with the way they tie their hair? I need a little more clarity on that question, and I need to understand what it relates to, in what energy, in what we are speaking about. Yes. So Bernadette, as I'm saying, yes, she asked the question openly, but you know, dreams, there are a lot of dynamics around dream, and sometimes in a dream there may be one particular thing that we may be focusing on that does not really reflect the true meaning of the dream. Right? So when you talk about flowers, you know, we were talking about colors. So when you talk about flowers, then I would need to know what type of flower. I would need to know the color, and you know, a lot of details, and where you see it, how you see it, which part you see, you know, a lot of questions need to be asked. So when you ask these questions like that, you know, there's a lot of questions, and then the conversation, even though it may be open, there may be some things in it that may be private or personal, you know, that the person that asks the question, they may not want certain things to be revealed to John public. You understand what I'm saying? You know, Little Africa. Yes. So anybody have any other questions? You know, I must make acknowledgement to, you know, those that who are taking time off to view and share and like, you know, my life. You know, I have a real good friend, and you know, her name is her name is not Madeline Defoe, And I want to take this moment and this opportunity to acknowledge her. And why I will take this moment and opportunity to acknowledge her, not only share, but I have some others, like Betty Lou, Christine Edwards, even my sister Safia. But there are some topics that very ticklish and challenging. And, thanks to Madeline Defoe, Mrs. Madeline Defoe, have me excuse. She, in conversing, she has, bring these ideas to me that cause me to bring certain topics to the table. So, I want to acknowledge her especially. I'm not trying to take away anybody credit. Betty Lou, you have been there giving me that strength. And well, Christine Edwards, my vertebrate. And special thanks to my wife, Nyla, for standing with me. Even though she's not fully into all of this spirituality as I am, she gave me 101 billion% support. Right. Now, Annabelle, I want you're making statement and asking question, and there's no specific, kind of bouncing all over, right? Now we go into does that same energy transfer to children who are not baptized? All energies, all humans, all man, all woman, all mankind are receptive to all energy and vibration. All. There's none that isn't. Whether they are those that are baptized, in which discipline that they have chosen, whether they are those that are not baptized, energies and vibration, the human, right, attract energies and vibrations, right? What happens is that sometimes they may not directly attract these energies or these vibrations, right? But what will happen is that sometimes they may be carried somewhere that have a particular energy and vibration, right? Hence the reason why we're going back to colors now, especially this is what I know in Trinidad and Tobago, that when children are newly born, even when I talk about security and I spoke about comfort, our elders, grandparents, or the village elder, they would make what we would call a blue bag, for protection, and they would pin it or have it on or in a close proximity on the child. And all those who are Trinidad, whether they live abroad or wherever they live, they would have been familiarized, or they will be privy to this, and they will use a blue bag, or they will call it a blue bag, and that is for that particular reason. So okay. Right. Okay, old school religion, my dear, baptism children or children about to be baptized would be a 3-corner head tie. Okay, I lost it. Well, maybe energy, maybe the wrong word, and that is a perfect example. Right? You see now, and these are things that, as I was saying, we need to be conscious about. Just one word or one shade, could throw off the whole dynamics of an energy or a vibration or a frequency. Right? So things as colors and as names, we ought to be extremely careful with, because we do not want to attract specific vibration. Yeah? So I'm tempting to answer your question, Betty Lou, but I don't know if this is where you are coming at. If you really need a more direct answer, you need to be a little more specific, so I can able to answer you in the best way that I can, that you can understand. Capiche? Ha! So you have a little time to think about how you want to phrase your question. So anybody, the floor is open. So yes, what question do you have to ask me? I ain't asking if anybody have. You have a question to ask, what it is. Oh God, we well talk. Well, since we have no more questions, now if we have, I will take 2 minutes, So don't forget to like, share, and follow. As I say, I have some other platforms on TikTok, YouTube. So, don't be a stranger at these platforms. And let's continue to become a better yesterday than today. There's a lot of people who on this chat, who would come on this chat, that belongs to a particular circle, of spirituality and thing, and you would recognize that I'm not addressing anybody really by any status. Now, if you wishes for me to do so, if it wishes for me to do so, I would. But for me, you don't need to address me with any status, okay? Besides Brother Arno or just Arno, or, well, Betty Lou, you are Sensei, and the reason for this is because this platform that I have here, better today than yesterday, correct? This platform that I have here is not about status, or is not to identify anybody by no particular power name or anything like that. It's just to identify you and myself as man or woman, and to create a level playing field. So it's not, status has no grounds here. Because I don't want people to feel, I want to ask this question, and I'm speaking to a minister, or I'm speaking to this person with this doctor degree, or this master's, so I'm afraid. No. It's about you being you and I'm being me. And it's to create a level of comfort, to create relaxation, is a one-on-one. And I want you to feel comfortable in your space. I want you to feel relaxed. I want it to be you while I'm me. As I say, if you have a particular name and you want me to address you, for example, you want me to address you Dr. Christine, Dr. Edwards, and because you work hard for it and you wish to be addressed like that, I don't have a problem in that, you know, but I'm saying is that it's not relevant on this platform, you know. And yes, Betty Lou, there is something called a stupid question. I'm very sorry, but there is. And I'm saying that, you know, to eliminate, you know, people who just not thinking on how they phrasing the question and really thinking what they want to ask. You know, people would use that term. There's nothing as a stupid question to make people feel comfortable. And then when you say that, somebody pop up and ask a nonsensical question, very stupid. And you know, you don't tell them there's nothing as a stupid question. So you know, you're trying not to look anyway, and you want to answer them, you know. But yeah, so it's not that there's nothing as a stupid question. Let us take our time, think what we wish or we would like to ask, and present it in a respectable way, and we will work from there. Right? So enough thanks, enough love. I highly appreciate all of y'all. And you know, if it wasn't for your energy and your vibration, this life would have never been possible. You know, we all belong to a circle. You know, shape is something that we should get into one of these days. We all belong to that circle. And once we understand that we belong to a circle where no one is greater, no one is more powerful than the next, but each one need one, and each one ought to help one, then it would help us to propel from one stage to another even faster than we think. So, you know, that being said, I honestly love all of you all. Special thanks. You know, I want to make acknowledgement to some of the people that show up, you know. Rhonda Lewis. Special thanks to Fari Bain, Josanne, you know, Alma Belgrave, you know, plenty blessings, goodness, and plenty love, you know. Only Sweet Rasta Noel, God, and plenty others. Special thanks, you know, good thanks and praises. You know, let's continue to be a better yesterday than today or tomorrow. You know, our goal is to be better than we last was. So with this, I would say thank you all. You know, I must apologize for this late starting. I get short for timing, you know, but God is God and God alone. You know, so I want to thank you all and asking you all to continue to like, continue to follow, and most importantly, continue to share. You know, each one, we ought to teach one, because we grow from strength to unity. And that is how we operate. Betty Lou, what do you mean I have... What? I've been having you all over the place. I'm not understanding your collaborations. I truly am not. You know, so let us continue. Let us remember, you know, the conversation we have concerning colors. Let us remember the conversation we have concerning names and the importance of it. You know, I have other vlogs on Facebook. For those that who haven't seen them, you can go back and, you know, go through them and thing. I'm guaranteed that there are food, a lot of food in it. You know, that your belly will be yummy full. You know, if you have questions, ask. Or any comments, you can leave your comments. If you're a little private and you don't really want, and you're feeling a little challenged, you know, you can private message me. And, you know, we can talk and we can have a discussion. You know, so I know there are plenty of us who have questions to ask, but a little shaking up and thing, you know, which is okay. You can private message me and thing. Yeah, so thanks for your support. Thanks for your love. Thanks for your energy. Thanks for your vibration. Don't forget to love, not just like. I want you to love it. Share. And most important, follow. You know! Bless.